everybody. Welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing Law Abiding Citizen. Just finished watching this one on Max. Figured I'd stay with some more Gerard Butler. I've seen this one a bunch of times, but I really like this one. So, again, just pumping out some more content. You know how we do it. I will give you my overall impressions and grade after giving you the overview as presented by Google, along with some logistics. Once I give my grade, if you've not seen the movie and would like to, you're going to want to shut off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot, as well as character development and any similar movies or major themes. So Law Abiding Citizen was released in 2009. It's rated R. It is a thriller/crime movie. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. It is currently on Max for the regular subscription. It says, Clyde Shelton, played by Gerard Butler, is an honorable family man until the day his wife and daughter are murdered in a home invasion. He hopes for justice, but a rising prosecutor named Nick Rice, played by Jamie Foxx, cuts a deal with one of the killers in exchange for testimony. 10 years later, that man is found dead, and Shelton coolly admits his guilt. Then he hands Rice an ultimatum: fix the broken legal system or suffer the consequences. Had a budget of $53 million, did $127.9 at the box office. Directed by Gary Gray. Nice. 86% liked it on Google, 82% liked it on Just Watch, 26% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, and 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Google says it's gritty, gripping, and suspenseful. Again, obviously watched a ton of crime movies and shows, so this one I think is up there for, amongst even the crime genre. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, even watching it, because this one's on TV all the time, so I've seen bits and pieces of this 5 times, who knows. But I think it's a good crime movie. I thought the tone throughout the piece was well done. I thought both Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler had a good, solid performance. I thought the entire cast was good. There was no off-putting characterizations. The plot moves along well, and it is interesting. So I'm giving this one a solid A. I recommend this one. I think overall it's well done. Cinematography, acting, and plot, I think all is well done. So overall I'm giving this one an A. I definitely recommend this one if you haven't seen it. Widely popular movie. But if you've not and would like to, you're going to want to shut off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. So the movie opens up, Nick Rice is at home, Clyde Shelton's at home with his wife and young daughter, and she's making him a bracelet that says Daddy. And so you have 2 armed assailants, Darby and Ames. They break in, they beat Clyde with a baseball bat, they tie him up. Darby is more of the gritty character. Ames is, along for the home invasion, but not for rape or for murder. And so Darby rapes the wife. Not a super graphic scene, but definitely implied. And then the wife and daughter are killed as well. And so, not super graphic in that scene or anything, but that's what happens. The next thing is Clyde Shelton meeting with Nick Rice, the prosecutor, basically exploring the options about what they can do. And Nick Rice tells him that he's already made a deal, basically some justice is better than no justice. Darby agreed to testify against Ames, even though Clyde was right there and saw the whole thing happen. And so Clyde's not happy with that. And Nick is like, it's better to get something than nothing at all. And so they make a deal. Nick shakes hands with Darby. Nick is not friendly with Darby, but Clyde does not like that. And that's basically what happens. And so Nick has a wife at home, Kelly. She's pregnant in the opening scenes, and then you get a fast forward 10-year scene pretty quickly into the movie. So 10 years later, you have Denise Rice, the daughter has been born, and it's now time for Ames's execution. So Nick has an assistant, Sarah Lowell, and she's never seen an execution before, so they're going to this execution to see, just to witness a death. And so they go there. Ames gets pulled up, and his last words are like, I shouldn't have been there that day, but you're killing the wrong guy and murder those people. And so he puts him back down. Then they give him the lethal injection, and he goes horribly wrong, and he's writhing in pain, and it's gruesome. He's twitching and all discolored and whatnot. And so they now start on the canister that says "Can't fight fate," which is what I think Darby has said sometimes throughout the movie already, but maybe at the trial. But regardless, now they think maybe Darby's the suspect. but they're treating the death of Ames as a murder or as a some sort of criminal activity. And so that happens, and then Darby is now like sleeping on the couch. He's got a hooker there. He's got some cocaine and a gun. It's a phone call, and basically police are on their way to arrest Darby, and he's in violation of his parole. And basically the voice on the phone tells him, where the cops are going and to run away. Fires some shots at the police, runs away. Hears the voice on the phone say there's a police car nearby and the officer's tased. So Darby goes in there, takes the officer's gun, and is like, let's drive. And so they drive, and Darby's about to kill the police officer, and it's Clyde Shelton dressed up as a police officer, and he's like talking to him on the phone. It's like, I'll never see my daughter and wife again. It's because you took him from me years ago. Takes off his disguise. Darby tries to shoot him, and it's rigged to have like some sort of toxin from some sort of liver of some sort of animal, so that he's paralyzed but he can feel everything. So Clyde takes him to one of his properties and cuts him up bad. And so the next day, he sends a video to Nick's house. Once Darby is found all cut up, they're suspecting Clyde because of the obvious motive, and so he strips down naked and is apprehended. So Clyde gets arrested. He's in this interrogation room. There's several decently, I don't want to say minor characters, but decently relevant characters from the law enforcement side I don't have up here or don't remember. But regardless, he does like a half confession where he's like, I fantasized about killing him. I thought about doing this, and he's like, that's not a real confession. In the whole case is there's not much evidence. Denise Rice sees the video of him cutting up Darby, but he's got a mask on so you can't see him. And so he basically says he'll give them a real confession if they give him a mattress. And so Nick is kind of reluctant to do that, meaning just any sort of negotiation. But regardless, they end up getting him his mattress, and then the next day he gives them a full confession. Well, he goes to the courtroom and you meet Judge Laura, and he is like, it's a bail hearing, and he's like, I'm a first-time offender, I'm a law-abiding citizen, cite some courts, and she's like, I'm inclined to agree with you, and then he just absolutely mocks the judge and was like, denied bail, and tells Judge Laura that she probably takes it up the ass. But regardless, he's like, if you give me a bed, I will give you a full confession. So they get him a bed. A lot of the other prisoners are upset. And then he gives them a full confession. And as Nick Rice is walking out of this interrogation room again, he's like, this is a done deal, slam dunk. And Clyde's like, what if I have something else to offer? And Nick's like, you don't have any leverage. And he's like, how about the life of Bill Reynolds? So Bill Reynolds was the prosecutor or the defense attorney for Darby. And they call his wife, and they realize that he's been missing for 3 days. And that Clyde does have leverage. And so Clyde requests a nice dinner from Del Frisco's, and nice steaks and asparagus, all the fixins. And so he gets that the next day. He says, be there at 1 p.m. sharp, or you're gonna be too late. And so they're checking a bunch. I forget the warden, but he was a familiar character. I forget where I saw him. But he's like, being stiff-necked. He's like, search it again. We're not going to abide by his timeline. And so he gets his food. They're about 8 minutes late. I think they were bringing it in at 1:08 instead of to 1 o'clock. Clyde gives them the longitude and latitude to where Bill Reynolds is being held. He's underground with some oxygen rigged to him. And so they get there, and Bill Reynolds is dead. So being too late to Clyde got Bill Reynolds killed. And so while they're doing that, Clyde offers some food to his cellmate, stabs him up. I think he kills him he gets a spork, but I think he kills him with a T-bone of the steak. Regardless, some sort of sharp object just stabs him in the neck until he's dead. Pretty gory scene. But so he gets moved to solitary confinement after stabbing up his cellmate. And so a couple back and forth with Nick Rice and Clyde Shelton. I don't think Mayor Davis is involved yet. But the next kind of thing is is they're trying to get a meeting with Judge Laura, and so Nick Rice, along with Jonas Cantrell, who's kind of like his, I don't know, his right-hand dude for a while. I think it's Jonas, doesn't matter. They go into the judge's chambers, and the judge gets a phone call, and the judge had given a lot of flack to Nick for answering phone in her courtroom. She's like, I'm a judge, I can do whatever I want. And she picks up the phone, and her head gets blown off by the cell phone. And so Judge Laura is now murdered, and Nick and Jonas are kind of shaken. And so they meet with Mayor Davis now, I believe, and she's like, so not only do we know who's doing this, he's behind bars, we got him locked up, and he's still killing people. How's that possible? But they're like, we have this under control. And so the next kind of thing that happens is Clyde Shelton's like, if you don't drop all of the charges against me, I'm going to kill everybody. And so they don't drop all the charges, and he says, the deadline's 6 a.m. by the next day. And so you have Sarah Lowell is Nick's assistant. She's been tasked to try to find any connection with Clyde, who's like it's like a thing, they describe it, we're not at the scene yet, but he's like a tinkerer, he's made a small fortune off inventions. And so Sarah is tasked with trying to pair some of his corporate expenses, which are sheltered in Panama, and try to match them to properties around Philadelphia. So the setting is modern day to 2009 in Philadelphia. And so they all wait, they're all kind of anxious, they watch the clock at 6 o'clock, and they're like, okay, nothing's happened, we can all go home, get some sleep, and come back and get after the case. And so they go outside, and Sarah's like, she's 35, another scene where it's like, I don't mind working for you, Nick, but I want to do the right thing, not just chase a high conviction rate. And so they all get in their cars, and then they all blow up. And so Sarah's now dead, 6 other people get killed, all from car bombs. And Nick Rice is not, Nick's car was not touched at all. So now at this point, Nick takes his family and gets Kelly and Denise out of the city. Tell them to use only cash, nothing that can be traceable. And Mayor Davis is like, she enacts Nick as the attorney general or prosecuting attorney or something higher up. He gets raised up there. And the next kind of thing is they go to the funerals of these people. They go to the graveyard, and they have 3 big black SUVs, and then there's just like this modified gun robot thing, and it just like lights up one of the cars with a bunch of rounds, and then shoots it with like an RPG, and Jonas gets killed. So now he is killed, everyone's killed, a lot of people are dying, Clyde's catching major bodies. Nick and there's again he has like another right-hand man. They kind of like meet with somebody under a bridge. This might be before he kills Jonas, but you learn that Clyde had done some like contract work for like basically design devices to kill people or kill foreign targets or whatnot. And so he had made some good money that way as well. But regardless, the next kind of thing is they find an old property that's been really close to the prison. They go down there. I forget who he's with. Maybe Detective something done something else, but I can't say the full name. Cole Meany's character, and so they go find one of those properties. They break into it, and they figured out that he's dug into every solitary confinement cell in the prison from just like this industrial warehouse very close by. And so they thought he had an accomplice, and now they just realized he can just like leave prison whenever he wants to. And so they kind of like go up into the thing and see, and he's not there. And so like if he's not in the cell and he's not underground, where is he? And so then you get him posing as a janitor, going into like this mayor hall meeting thing. And basically he's planning a bomb to kill like the mayor and all the top officials in Philadelphia. And so he plants that bomb. Nick and the other detective, along with the bomb squad guy, go up there, find the bomb. It's a bunch of napalm. It's on the 5th floor. The meeting's on the 6th floor. It's enough to take out everybody in the whole building or whatever. And so Clyde goes back, gets back in his cell, and Nick's standing there with his gun drawn, just kind of to his side, not really pointing at him. He's like, Clyde, I'm going to give you one more chance. don't go through with this. How would your wife and daughter feel about you killing in their name? He's like, they don't feel anything. They're not alive. And then he makes the call to detonate the bomb at the city hall. And so once he presses the button, Nick's like, I wish you the best for the rest of your life, which I feel is like 25 seconds. So the other detective had bolted down the escape, he tunnels out for the back of the toilet or something, but he's locked that up so he can't escape that way, and the bomb is handcuffed shut. So basically, Nick gave him a choice to not do the bomb, but if he did, the bomb was gonna be in his cell. And so Clyde realized that he's got, and he just kind of sits there with his little daddy bracelet from the opening scenes that his daughter made him, and the bomb goes off and he blows up. And so that's really the resolution of the movie. Again, overall, I thought it was very just a good crime movie, certainly amongst other crime movies in the genre. And so I give it an A. Well done. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I've seen it many, many times. So thank you for watching my review of Law Abiding Citizen, and I will see you on the next one.